Hello, I am Uchidashi, welcome, on our channel Heart Attacking Horror. Today I'm going to tell you my fourth story. According to the story, a TV channel organizes a show in which 5 people participate. Nilesh, Vinod, Aditya, Reena and Shape. Under the show, everyone will be sent to their previous birth and the person who has the best story of the previous birth will be given a reward of 1 crore. These 5 have been kept in a hotel. The help of a psychiatrist is taken to go to the last birth, which is also kept in the hotel. Under the rules of the show, no one can leave the show in the middle. The show is shown live on TV, plus all activities are recorded before and after the show for which cameras are installed everywhere in hotels and studios. Every second of the shooting is live. All preparations are complete. Today is the first day of the show. The psychiatrist is sitting on a chair inside the studio and Nilesh is lying on the bed in front of him. The cameraman stands with a camera that shoots close-up shots. There is a pendulum in the hands of a psychiatrist. Now the psychiatrist shakes the pendulum slowly in front of Nilesh, causing Nilesh to sleep deep. After going into deep sleep, the psychiatrist asks him about his previous life. Nilesh goes to the last birth and sees that a buffalo is variable in the field. Some children are doing mischief with buffalo, only then the buffalo owner Rajendra comes and catches the buffalo and goes with him. By looking so, Nilesh's eye opens. Then Vinod lays down on the bench. Vinod goes to the last birth and sees that there is a prison in which one person is locked. Some soldiers are strolling around. So much of seeing his eye opens. After that Reena lays down, she goes to the last birth and sees that a king is lying on his bed in a palace and a maid is massaging him, then Reena is awakened. Now the shape comes and lays down, a boy is taking a girl away in the previous birth. Then the shape rises. Now Aditya reaches the last birth and sees that 6 people are going to climb, and an English jailer and some soldiers are standing in front of him, and after a while they are hanged. Suddenly Aditya's eye opens and he looks scared. Today's episode ends. Everybody goes to the hotel. All the people eat and go to their own rooms. At 1 o'clock in the night, the psychiatrist dreams that a sloppy Kuchela man is dragging a dead body into the jungle and leaving. After a while, wild dogs come and eat the body. By looking so, the psychiatrist's eye opens. In the morning, all the people get up and perform routine action, as the day is cut off. Now comes the time of the night when the episode is broadcast time. The shape is lying on the bench, the psychiatrist takes him to the previous birth. The figure shows that, with the couple last night, there is a girl and also, the 3 people are quarreling with each other. Then the eye of the shape opens. Now Reena goes to the last birth to see that the king is getting a man today and only then does he knock the door. Reena's eye opens when the studio gate opens. Aditya comes inside and falls to the ground, has blood in his hand and a knife in the abdomen. Everybody gets up and goes to him, calls the studio ambulance. After a while the ambulance comes and goes to the hospital with Aditya. All the people are terrified. Everybody goes to the hotel. At 12 o'clock, everyone is sleeping in their own room, only then the door of Aditya's room opens and Aditya comes out, goes to the washroom and then comes back and goes to sleep. In the morning, everybody is on the breakfast table, but Vinod does not look. Everybody feels that he may have gone somewhere, so all the people do not have breakfast, and then go to their own room. Everybody takes recourse to TV to spend the day. It is slowly evening. Today, not all people are able to go together for the studio. Everybody comes out of retail. All studios are reached, but there is no Vinod. When he does not come, the program is started. Nilesh lays down and goes to the last birth and sees that Rajendra's buffalo is tied outside Motilal's house. After a while Motilal comes out and collects all the blood of the buffalo vein from the blade, then the buffalo dies, and Nilesh starts crying. The psychiatrist quickly brings Nilesh to the present. After that Nilesh calms down, only then does Aditya enter the running studio and tells him that Vinod is dead in the hospital, and all the people are amazed. All people reach the hotel by closing the program. All the people are sitting in the psychiatrist's room and are unhappy, only then Nilesh asks Aditya to recover from his hospital and come back, why he was knifed, and now he looks fine. In reply, Aditya says that he had not put a knife, but he has been in the hotel for the last 2 days and is constantly sleeping. He doesn't even remember anything, but this evening when his eye opened, a phone call comes from the hospital at the hotel reception, which reports Vinod's death. which he hears everyone searching for in the hotel, but shows that all the studios have gone. Just then he reaches the studio directly and gives the news. Everyone is surprised to hear Aditya, why the incident of Aditya in the last night's studio and the arrival of Vinod's hospital are not being digested by anyone. Slowly, the night starts to go into its depths, all the people go to their own rooms. Everyone is nervous. Gradually, everybody sleeps. At 1 p.m., the light of the studio is on, Reena is lying on the bench, only then the bathroom gate opens and the cameraman comes out to Reena, the two start romancing, and after a while, suddenly Nilesh's entry from the gate of the studio. He gets furious to see Reena and the cameraman in this situation and fires the studio, including Reena and the cameraman, from the lighter in his pocket and flees. At 6 o'clock in the morning, the alarm opens Nilesh's eye, he is scared out of the room and then goes out of the hotel without any meeting. On the other hand, everyone else becomes refreshed. The day passes. In the evening, the figure outside the studio, Aditya, the psychiatrist is standing in and the three people enter inside, the darkness inside, the shape light on, the light goes on, everyone looks at the bench, where Nilesh is dead, he is scared to see, only then Reena and the cameraman also enter the door, both of them are amazed to see Nilesh dead. Everybody sees each other, there are countless questions about Nilesh's death, along with the death of Vinod in everyone's mind, only then some of the production people come and talk about checking themselves by asking everyone to keep quiet and not to tell them outside. Everybody is asked to leave the program, but when the production program is left in the middle, they talk about the case, why the agreement talked about a fine of 100 crore rupees for leaving the program in the middle, then the production goes away. Everybody goes to the hotel without a program. Everyone goes to the hotel and lays down in the same room, but there is no one to sleep. Now Reena, Aditya, psychiatrist, shape is left. At 12 o'clock in the night, everybody is awakened, but Aditya is sleeping. Aditya dreams of a dream in which he is the ruler of a tribal clan, and the tribe lives in the forest, then wild animals were hunted to eat, and then if there was a shortage of animals in the forest, a tribe would enter another forest, and there was a war with the ruler of the already living clan. Then there was a war between the warlords of the two tribes, and after that, those who won became the rulers of both the tribes and lived in the wilderness. Once the people of Aditya's clan die of hunger because there is a shortage of animals in the forest, Aditya goes to another forest with his clan, where he can hunt only when the ruler of the clan is defeated. Both tribes are facing, Aditya makes his point, so the next day in the conversation is a war. Those who belong to both clan fall asleep. The next morning, when the eyes of the people open, they see that the ruler of the forest clan has been killed by someone. Hurt by his death, his clan takes Aditya and his clan captive, so seeing Aditya's eye opens, he gets up and sees that Reena, the psychiatrist and the figure are sleeping, then Aditya goes up to drink water, opens the gate of the fridge, suddenly he looks at the head of the psychiatrist in the fridge. He does not have a trunk, he is scared, and he reaches the room, where the psychiatrist is sleeping, he sleeps, Aditya screams, hear the squeak and ask all the people to wake up and ask Aditya the reason for screaming, Aditya goes out of the room. It is 10 o'clock in the day, everybody is sitting in the room, the psychiatrist is preparing to go somewhere, he goes out. Here Reena, Shapith and Aditya are sitting in a silent arc, some are scared. 2 hours later, the psychiatrist, with Nilesh and Vinod, opens the gate of the hotel room and enters inside. As soon as he enters the Aditya dining table, the psychiatrist looks at the meat, which the psychiatrist does some of the effects, but then goes to the room with Nilesh and Vinod, where the shape is talking to someone on the phone and Reena is lying. Looking at the psychiatrist, Nilesh and Vinod, the shape cuts the phone and Reena gets up and sits down. The psychiatrist sits there on the chair and Aditya also comes to the room from behind. Reena asks about Nilesh and Vinod. The psychiatrist tells me that at night when he was coming back from the bathroom, he thought someone was walking with him, I thought something was wrong, then tried to communicate with him, but in the morning I went to the hospital, where it turns out that no servant named Vinod came there. Nor dead, but I found the dead body of the cameraman of the show, which shows that his body has been there for a week, which I doubted, why the cameraman was seen in the studio on the evening, he goes to the cameraman's house to dispel the suspicion that the cameraman is alive. When asked by the cameraman, he shows that nothing happened to him, but in the evening a policeman came to him asking him about Nilesh and Vinod. I get out of the cameraman's house and go straight to the police station, where I get locked up in Nilesh and Vinod jail, which shows that both of them have been arrested for the death of the people from the second day of the show, while we are alive, then tried to find the policeman who arrested both of them. He doesn't get anywhere, and then F.I.R. check the register shell, there are no compliant. After that, I am coming straight to the hotel, that is the only thing, and yes, I find it a big conspiracy. What conspiracy does Aditya listen to? In response, the psychiatrist talks about finding out soon. After that, everybody sits on the bed. Now the psychiatrist removes an injection and some syringe in his pocket and then all the people faint. After fainting, the psychiatrist removes the thread from his other pocket and binds all the wrists and catches one end of it with himself and sits in the ground and then closes the eyes. All the unconscious people begin to go to their previous births and the psychiatrist also enters his previous birth to find out the present circumstances. Now the psychiatrist sees the previous birth of all with his own eyes. First she enters the previous birth of the figure, she sees that two girls are quarreling with a boy. The quarrel increases so much that the boy kills both the girls, and only then the soul of Aditya is visible. The psychiatrist opens the eye and falls into the sleep. After a while, he closes his eye again and this time he enters Reena's last birth and sees that a king is massaging with a man. After a while the king starts to get into the man, then a maid enters and sees it and gets furious and cuts the king's neck with the sword of the king. Seeing that the man takes the sword from the maid's heart, and his sin, why he is the husband of a male servant, suddenly a soul also enters the king's room, which makes the psychiatrist wonder why the soul is of Aditya, so the psychiatrist then opens the eye. After a while, he again blindly sees the previous birth of Vinod that some soldiers are going to take a prisoner and the soul of Aditya is also going on. The psychiatrist opens the eye, he does not understand anything, then blindly sees Nilesh's last birth that a buffalo is dead outside the house and is filling the blood from the bucket with Motilal blood inside the house. Only then the buffalo owner Rajendra comes, who is angry with the buffalo's death. And by looking at this power of Motilal, he gets blood on his head. Rajendra is stabbed to the head of Motilal with a shovel nearby. He dies there and his soul comes out of the body when he dies, but only then does Aditya's soul come out. Looking at Aditya's soul, the psychiatrist opens the eye and looks at the unconscious Aditya and then closes the eye and looks at Aditya's last. He prepares to go to birth. It is too late, but he is not able to go to Aditya's previous birth. Now the psychiatrist opens the eye and sees Aditya. He is amazed at why Aditya is not breathing. He gets up and brings everyone to consciousness, and tells him not to breathe. All the people reach the hospital with Aditya in his fast, where he is pronounced dead. Now all the people reach the god to perform the final action of Aditya, and as soon as he reaches out to him to burn him, he gets up and sits down, and the production people run away, but the psychiatrist, Nilesh, Reena, Shape, Vinod, does not rush. The psychiatrist tries to ask Aditya that only then Aditya snatches the firewood from his heart and fires the psychiatrist. The psychiatrist starts burning with smoke, and everyone else is scared and flees. Everyone reaches the hotel room, everyone is very scared. The Shape and Reena are so scared that both of them lie down on the bed and take the sheet. Vinod and Nilesh are sitting on the chair. There is a bloodbath in everyone's eyes. Slowly the night becomes and all the people get the eye. Shortly after bedtime, the ears of the Shape are heard chewing. When the Shape opens the eye, it is scared and the lying Reena is awakened. Reena is too scared to see and shout. Nilesh and Vinod are also awakened by hearing the voice. Everyone sees that Aditya is sitting on the ground in the room and eating a half-burnt corpse on the ground, his mouth is ashes. As soon as all the people wake up to go out of fear, suddenly Aditya comes to the ground and puts his teeth on the neck of Vinod. Only then the gate of the room opens and the psychiatrist enters, which has a gun in the hand and a syringe in the gun, which is triggered by the syringe entering Aditya's body and Aditya faints. Seeing Aditya unconscious breathes all the relief but is terrified to see the psychiatrist. The psychiatrist tells them to calm down, there is no need to be afraid of me, I am alive. This listening figure talks about his burning at the pier, to which the psychiatrist says, "I was not the one who burned, it was my 3D model, and it was my friend's technology, which I used on the pier." By listening to this, Nilesh says, "When did it do?" In reply, the psychiatrist says that all this happened in the hospital. When the doctor took Aditya in ICU, I went out, and I called my friend and told me everything. Then he told me about this technology and he gave the instrument. Then I came back to the hospital and put that instrument in Aditya's pocket and also a camera. After that you went to the GOT, I had a 3D model with you, then I was getting Aditya's location from the camera, then I came here. Hearing this, Reena says, "Were you already aware of this form of Aditya?" In reply, the psychiatrist says, "When I was in the last birth of all of you in the day, I saw the soul of Aditya, who was amazed. Then I tried to communicate with his soul, and he found out that he was left on the first day when 6 people were being hanged. Just from here, I was told that when Aditya's soul was left from the first day, whose soul is his body." And yes, you are not all related to Aditya's previous birth, because he was in the previous birth of everyone, but you did not appear in the previous birth. Well, after that I did all this. It is heard that Vinod says, "What is the cure?" The psychiatrist says that I will have to go to your previous birth, and yes, we don't have much time, because we have to do everything before the effect of this injection is done after 1 hour. By listening to it, the Vinod lay down on the bed, the psychiatrist injects him into a deep sleep and catches his own. After a while, the psychiatrist reaches his previous birth and sees that some soldiers take a prisoner to a hanging place, and stand beside the noose and tie his feet, where a prisoner is already standing near the noose, and only a few soldiers bring 2 more people. One of whom is the husband of a maid and the other buffalo owner Rajendra, both of them are tied to their feet. After a while the murderer who killed both the girls is also brought, he is also standing near the noose, only then an English jailer comes with some soldiers, he is accompanied by a prisoner, who is brought to the trap and all the 6 people are tied to the noose and all the 6 people are beckoned by the jailer. When they are hanged, they all die flapping. The psychiatrist feels that one of the 6 people has come to the present and is doing all the other, only then the psychiatrist sees the soul of Aditya, which is tried to find out about the 6 people who have been enumerated and hanged. It is known that the maid is currently Reena who killed the king. Vinod is a jailed prisoner who was jailed for several years, who killed his parents in that birth. The shape is the same girl who was killed by her as lover in the previous birth. Nilesh is the Rajendra of the previous birth, who killed Motilal for his buffalo, and the 5th hanging is Aditya himself, who was the ruler of these 4 in the previous birth, who runs a gang of robbers, so he is also hanged, and then the dead body of these 5 is burnt with full customs. The psychiatrist seems to be looking at it that none of these can be souls. Now, the 6th person, who has no information about, for whom Aditya's soul is sent to the British office, the file shows that the 6th person was a revolutionary, who was caught fraudulently by the police, and after he dies, his body is thrown into the forest, which the dog is eaten. This dream was also seen by the psychiatrist. There was no one behind that revolutionary. The psychiatrist is on her own, and when she finds out, she is aware that she is not a revolutionary but a psychiatrist of the present. My soul cannot be because I have been born. After being so aware, the psychiatrist feels that the soul is someone else, then he comes back to the present. Only 5 minutes after Aditya's rise, now he comes to Aditya and catches his hand and tries to go to his previous birth. After a while the psychiatrist goes to his previous birth and sees that it is night time. The forest leader is sleeping in his clan. After a while the ruler of the other clan, which is currently Aditya, who is born even before Aditya's previous birth, comes and asks the sleeping king to allow him to hunt for animals, which the ruler of the forest refuses and talks about war in the morning, but the people of Aditya's clan are in a position to kill without eating, because of which Aditya gets a quarrel with the ruler of the forest and Aditya tries to kill him, but only then some people of the forest clan come and take Aditya out. Then the king of the jungle goes to sleep. Half an hour after bedtime, some people from the forest clan come who came a little while ago and took Aditya out. They kill their king, and after they have been killed, everyone goes quietly and goes to sleep. In the morning, when other people of the forest clan see the king dead, Aditya and his clan are taken hostage and killed. The soul of the king of that birth is considered to be Aditya, and since then he is trying to kill Aditya while wandering in every birth, so the soul inside the present Aditya becomes conscious and he picks up the psychiatrist and falls away. Now Aditya tries to get up and kill all the people. It separates Vinod's leg from his body, and Aditya starts eating that leg. He tries to escape all the fear, but Aditya does not let anyone go. He catches the shape hair and twists it, causing all the hairs of his head to boil. The bald that goes. Nilesh runs to save the shape, only then Aditya catches his feet and tore it into two halves. In two parts, Bada Nilesh dies flapping and flapping. Now the psychiatrist gets up and answers his eyes in order to pacify Aditya, holding his hand and pressing loudly, so that his mind is now occupied by a psychiatrist. Now Aditya starts to calm down and understands the urgency of the time, and his soul starts to visit the previous birth, in which he sees that he was not killed by Aditya, but by the people of his clan, who saw the king's soul crying in the body of Aditya and goes back by apologizing. Now Aditya's body is completely dead. The psychiatrist goes into his previous birth and brings his soul to the present. In a little while Aditya slowly sits down and starts crying. Reena, Vinod, Shape and psychiatrist present there explain to her. Slowly he calms down. Now the psychiatrist makes a phone call to the ambulance for Nilesh and Vinod. Here's the end of our story flashback.